Hi, Don Shank here from How You Find a Job Fast. What if this had been a job interview? I was watching an attractive-looking couple seated at a table near ours when the woman did the unthinkable in a restaurant. We were having dinner with friends, about 10 of us all told, at an upscale eating establishment. Our friends, Harry and Jeannie, were seated across the table from my wife and I, and just beyond Harry's right shoulder I had full view of a table for two about 10 feet away. I watched as the hostess directed an attractive couple to sit at that table. He was a handsome fellow, about age 40, with a slight touch of gray showing at his temples. The restaurant is in a ski town where people tend to dress casually, and he was dressed in expensive casual, very expensive casual. The sweater he was wearing must have cost an arm and a leg, and he wore perfectly tailored slacks, and his shoes had a fresh shine. He looked to be the trophy husband type that his date would want to impress. I assumed she was his date, as neither wore a wedding band. She was an attractive, absolute knockout. Wow! I would guess her to be around 35 years of age. She had long dark hair, a stunning face, and a nice figure. She was wearing a mid-calf length dress with a very low-cut neckline. And judging from her body language, she was totally enamored by him. As she spoke, she leaned forward, staring into his eyes, hanging on his every word, and I continued to watch her body language to see how she could fit into this budding relationship. She had her right leg crossed over her left, just above the knee, and let one of her high-heeled shoes dangle off the tip of her toe. She was definitely interested in him. Several minutes later, I happened to look her way just as she raised her right hand, stuck out her index finger, and stuffed it about an inch up her nose. Yuck! She was picking her nose in public. Double yuck in a restaurant. Ew, triple yuck. His reaction was priceless. With eyes wide in surprise, he leaned back in his chair, away from her. She was absolutely oblivious. She did not have a clue. I guess her parents had never taught her not to pick her nose in public, and without a facial tissue at that, especially at a dinner table. I would also be willing to bet that that was the last time he asked her for a date. What if this had been a job interview? Think of it as the boss having lunch with a potential new employee. Since she is oblivious to manners, it's the kind of thing she might do during a job interview. Thus one job opportunity down the drain, and she would never know why. Some people do weird things. I'm reminded of the time I interviewed a potential employee who had the obnoxious habit of sniffing with her nose, or sniffling, while making pig-like sounds in her sinuses. She was not aware of it, and not aware anyone else could hear her snuffling grunts. Needless to say, she didn't get the job. Her personal noises would have grossed out my customers. Do you have any weird habits? How would you know? Besides, they would seem normal to you. Before you go to your next job interview, ask your friends, ask your family, ask your significant other.